Okay.
Hello, you're listening to the G.O.A.T Pod. This is a podcast where we discuss the best-selling albums of all time, hosted by Jason Purrier, Stephen Schott, Daniel Brown, and me, Jared Slusher. Now let's go ahead and dive into today's episode.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the G.O.A.T Pod,
Heyo.
where we talk about a bunch of music and stuff. So, yeah.
I thought
so
you
this
were
episode,
about to say, "What's up, YouTube?" I was so
I thought about it, but then I came to my senses.
nice.
Smash that
I
like button.
I should put the Metallica one on YouTube. You're right.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, but so this album is, this episode is a bit different. Usually we talk about the greatest or the best-selling albums of all time, but every 7th or 8th episode we're talking about one of our personal favorites. And this time it is my personal favorite, the most important one.
Ah, yes.
So
naturally.
and the album is OK Computer. But first I was wondering, you guys, what's like a movie or a TV show that you watched as a kid that you think probably had a lasting impact, like on your personality development, like something that you sort of modeled your sort of humor off of, or something like that. And don't be afraid to get introspective with it, because that'll be on brand with the album today. It's very
Naturally
introspective and thinky. But Jared, do you wanna start us off?
Yeah. Thanks, Stephen. So I think for me, I'm going to have to go with Psych, because
That is a good choice.
before watching Psych, I was what you may call vanilla in the comedy and humor department.
I knew you back then. That's true.
Yeah, and then after watching Psych, mostly because of you, I became what is now more commonly known as possibly French vanilla. There's more flavor there.
Nice.
Wow. That's
Like
really
evidence
that's
of vanilla bean.
Yes, yeah, maybe more cookie dough than French vanilla. There's some chunks in there, but
yeah. Okay.
I don't know
Very
where the
nice,
metaphor's
very
going.
nice.
I kind of lost myself. I started off really strong.
It's like regular vanilla, except they don't like paying taxes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in the same.
That's my stereotype of French people. They're always protesting. That's okay though. Jason, what about you?
You know, let me put it to you this way: if I was to think back on my childhood,
Okay.
there's many
For
things.
those of you just listening,
Yeah,
he just totally pulled a switcheroo on us.
He totally psyched us out.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
For those just
What
listening,
happens when
he
you give
changed
a
his
man too
camera.
many cameras? Yeah.
I have multiple cameras now at the moment.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I don't know. I was trying to think through that a lot. Because in some regards, like I want to say like the Rookie, or not the Rookie, the Sandlot. I was gonna say the Rookie year, not the Rookie year, the Sandlot, and mainly just because now I still play Sandlot baseball, so it's kind of stuck around. But in some regards, I feel like the show Community did a lot, with, especially like my humor.
What a tremendous show!
Lots of
it's good,
very niche jokes that are like subtle. I like to say jokes that like only 1 out of 5 people in the room are going to get, and only that one person's going to hear it too. So
yes,
it's very, very specific jokes for the situation, and I feel like there's a lot of those in Community.
Cool.
Cool. Troy and Abed in the morning. So I think I'm going to go with a combo. I think I'm going to go with a combo of those two.
Nice.
Solid choices. And last, but second to last, Dan.
Nice save.
Well, so
There's a real Michael
whatever.
Scott moment right there.
Yeah. So something that like affected a portion of my childhood was Dragon Tales. Because
Dragon Tales, Dragon.
You know, it's one of those "where were you" moments, and when September 11th, 2001 hit, we were watching Dragon Tales, and I'll never forget it.
Wow.
Yeah, but
I'm interested to see where the story goes.
No, that's it. But something that like really affected my humor and my personality and stuff. It's between two. It's Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Ooh.
Those are good.
Heavily affected.
And Dragon Tales, apparently.
Dragon Tales, Brooklyn 99, and Parks and Rec.
Definitely. Yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
Those are really solid choices, you guys.
Yeah. Hey, Jarrett, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, dude.
Come on.
Steve. Steve,
I had my answer already and all that. Yeah. Okay. So if you know anything about me, I like two things: dogs and sadness. And I think there's two movies
Marley
that are.
and Me?
No, well,
Because of
well,
101 Dalmatians.
Yeah.
close.
And 102
No.
Dalmatians.
Old Yeller.
No. That's maybe number
All dogs go to
number 3,
heaven.
but
Where
not.
the red fern grows.
Clifford the Big
man,
Red Dog.
I forgot about that one. But if you'll let me get a
Hotel
word
for
in
Dogs?
edgewise. No. So movie number 1 is the dog movie, which is Homeward Bound.
Oh,
good.
I saw that on TV the other day.
So good.
What?
Dude, Marty
that's,
McFly, bro.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But
The
Homeward
voice of
Bound
the
is
dogs.
definitely has totally messed me up, and like I love dogs, and I really, if you heard a dog, I will poop my pants. And then the second movie, I think, is Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
Oh, very good.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
that's one of my favorite dog movies.
Well,
Chewbacca? Yeah.
the Star Wars was supposed to be the sad.
Oh, okay.
Or at least that's the sort of angsty movie.
That was the
one's
other
dog
way
movie.
around. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Anakin, he was just a beautiful, dark, angsty,
Teenager.
pre-Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And
This is where the fun
he
begins.
was awesome.
Spoilers.
Yeah, and that Star Wars came out in theaters, and I was able to watch it in theaters. That was the only.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Came out around my birthday.
cool.
Very nice.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude.
Speaking of interesting.
And my birthday.
Yeah, so OK Computer is the album that we're talking about today, and it is my favorite album of all time. It's
All right.
not an uncommon choice for favorite album of all time. Like a lot of magazines and individuals have said that this is their favorite, but a lot of people maybe don't care for it. It's not their cup of tea. But to be fair, neither is tea. So.
Hey, in the words of Ted Lasso.
Oh, I did want to mention BBC Radio 6 did a poll in '97, or I think it was '97, but it was voted 6th most overrated album of all time. So
Wow.
Wow.
let's get to work. Yeah.
Bump those up to
Yeah,
bump those numbers up, man. Let's get it to number 1.
Yeah.
It's the number one most overrated.
Yeah. Yeah, but so it is my favorite album. It came out in '97. So did I, as I said last time. But I don't actually know a whole lot about like the making of it, the background of it. As you know, in '97, I was dealing with a lot. I had a lot on my plate, like mushed carrots and such. So I don't remember. So Jarrett, I'm gonna. Jared, I'm gonna pass it to you. What did you learn about some of the background info of this here album, OK Computer?
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. Oh my god.
I wasn't a Solid Foods yet, man.
Man, you can tell Steven introduced me to Psych. So yeah, so OK Computer. Man,
We're never
what
gonna
a
get
segue.
through this.
Almost choked on my throat. So OK Computer came out on, so it's interesting. It came out on many different days and many different places. So the first time it came out was May 21st, 2 days away from my birthday in 97. It was released in Japan on that day. It was released June 16th in the UK, June 17th in Canada, and July 1st in the US. And typically, when I talk about when an album's released, I don't go through the different release dates. But this one was just so weird, I had to start with that because it's like a month and a half of release, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But
Fair enough.
sold, it's approximately like around now has sold up to 7.8 million. You can round up to 8 million, which if you listen to the Forget Not Slow Down episode about, that album by Valiant K, my favorite album that we talked about, it is not anywhere close to 1 million. It's not even close to 500,000, which is gold in the US, which makes me sad. But,
Don't be sad.
this album has sold a lot, and a lot more than I have sold, and we'll leave it there. But yeah, so this is the third studio album. It's also the best selling, so 7.8 million. That's a good number. Third album by
Pretty good number.
Radiohead. The title comes from the radio show Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where the main character is like, "Okay, computer, I want full manual control now," which I've never listened to the radio. So if you have, you can tell me.
You've never listened to the radio ever?
I've never listened to the show on the radio. Let me clarify.
It's very
I
It's,
realize,
like,
yeah.
it's like a live podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see that. I understand.
Yeah.
Cool. But so the personnel that during this time, and according to the album booklet, everyone is just listed as committing to tape, music, and string arrangements. But I'm like, let's actually get into what the specific roles are. So band members, we've got Tom York on lead vocals, guitar, keyboard, Johnny Greenwood on guitar and keyboards, which interesting fact about him, when he joined the band or when they started the band, he was only playing keys and he didn't know how to play keys. He lied about knowing how to play the keys. And
On his resume.
what he would do when they rehearsed, which this was back when they were like in high school before college, he would turn his keyboard all the way down and just like pretend to play. And Tom would be like, I hear you. I really like the I forget exactly what he said, but I like the atmosphere you bring to the table. And then Johnny would go home, learn the chords to the songs, and eventually turn himself up. And then he moved to lead guitar. So
What a legend.
little anecdote about Johnny Greenwood there. And then he's got his brother, Colin Greenwood, on the bass, Ed O'Brien on guitar and effects, and Philip Selway on the drums.
Can we just mention
Yeah.
how perfect effects are that they just listed as FX, which is exactly how it sounds. I just think it's beautiful because you look at it and you're like, what is that word? And it's exactly the right word. It just satisfies my soul. I just want to say that.
You don't need a lot to satisfy your soul, do you?
No, not at all.
FX is like the word.
FX.
That is pretty cool, though. I'm trying to play it cool, but that's pretty neat.
Pretty cool.
The band NoFX for a long time confused me. I was like, why would they name their band name Nofix? Like, what does that even mean? And then I understood.
No talk, baby.
So the producer for this album was Nigel Godrich, which he originally started working with them on their second album, The Bends, at RIK Studios. And I think he's worked with them every single album since then. So he's.
Let me guess, is Nigel British?
You've got that right.
It's the most British name.
What's rule
History.
number
Nigel
one?
Thornberry.
Could be Australian though.
It's true.
It's possible.
You could be Australian.
Like the
What were the
Pelican.
Wild Thornberries? Were they Australian?
They were Australian.
Yeah, they were Australian.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
Aussie.
This is Jared in Post. They were not Australian.
Yeah. Oi, oi, oi.
I'm sure we're offending somebody right now. But anyway, so they started recording this album
If you're in Australia, come find
during
us.
the touring season for the Bends. They started in September 4th, 1995 with Lucky, which was originally just going to be as part of a charity album for War Child. And then they officially started the sessions for OK Computer in July of 1996, and that ran through March 1997. Starting in their rehearsal space, which I love this name, is Canned Applesauce.
It's not a. It's just a noun.
Yeah.
No.
We should start
What
our
a-
own
what a
called
name.
Squeezy applesauce. Just a little
Oh my
squeezy packets.
Gatorade
I don't have a joke
sports
for that
bottle
one.
applesauce.
Oh my gosh.
Mustard and napkins.
They started at Canned Applesauce and then moved to St. Catherine's Court, which is a castle owned by the actress Jane Seymour. So, completely different scenery there. But it's essentially what they wanted to do was they wanted to experiment beyond the typical studio and get more of a because if for those of you who have recorded with bands or know how bands record, typically you can do it one of two ways. You can either do it segmented, where you record the drums, record the bass, everything separate from each other, or you can record it live in one take together as a band. And so they kind of experimented with both that. And when they moved to St. Catherine's Court, they went to that live feeling. We're all going to play this together. I think that's at least half the record, if not most of the record. And in playing in that space, it gave the album more of a natural reverb. And there's this thing called audio separation, which was what I was talking about. If you do drums, bass, guitar, all separate, here, got rid of that. Everything kind of bleeds into each other. So you can't escape. If you're mixing the drums, you're going to hear some guitar. If you're mixing the bass, you'll hear some effects and all that kind of stuff. So
Neato. Very cool. So let's move on to the track listing. Daniel, could you take it away?
Absolutely. Well, we're kicking it off with Airbag. I'm going for Airbag 2. Paranoid Android, which is the first single on this album. From that to Subterranean Homesick Alien, another single.
What a name.
Exit Music, parentheses, for a film. It was for Romeo and Juliet. That was done in 97, 98.
Yeah, I think same year. With
Okay.
Leo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we go to Let Down, which was a promo single. Do one of y'all want to tell the people what that means? Jarrett?
I don't know what it means.
Steven?
Every time. Essentially, what some artists will do is they'll release, it's technically a single, but it's not really meant for radio airplay. So they may release it and some radio stations may do it, or there may be a music video or whatever, but it's not an official. I don't know exactly how it pans out, but it's not an official single. It's just, it's there. It's before the album's out. Gotcha. There you go.
What I have here from just, Wikipedia, it's an audio or video recording distributed for free as a promotional tool. And it was actually designed, it was intended to be the first single of the album, but Paranoid Android got it instead. Moving on from Let Down is Karma Police, another single, then Fitter, Happier, Electioneering, Climbing Up the Walls, No Surprises, another single, Lucky, a French single, or single in French.
Ooh,
and then
baguettes.
Ending with The Tourist. Yes, oui, baguette.
Oh, I didn't know you spoke
said.
French. Okay, Jason just changed perspectives on us again. That's how you know you messed up. Yeah. Okay. So, this album. We can move on to lyrics and themes of this album, which this album to me is very unified in a lot of its themes. But to me, it deals with isolation and alienation, and it deals with voicing all of the anxieties about technology growing and our increasing reliance on it, and the effect that it has on individuals who want to connect with the world and with other people. So it has a lot of different themes, and it does have sort of societal commentary, but it's also, like I said at the beginning of this, it's very introspective and personal as
Absolutely.
well. So I wanted to ask you guys, were there any songs or like specific like lyrics or anything that spoke to you sort of personally or resonated with you personally? And also, were there any lyrics or songs that sort of made you think about contemporary society? Because this album seemed to predict sort of a lot of pitfalls that we would go down. Um, all the anxiety seemed to have been realized in our current age here, but yeah, I just wanted to pose that question to you fellas.
So I wouldn't put any like, I struggle like pulling out like specific lyrics, but like the way
Yeah, it can
they
be
pose,
as general as possible.
yeah, the way they pose the idea of like essentially trapped within like a computer like age,
Yeah.
like is crazy to be like that was 97. Like iPhone wasn't even a thought, more or less. Like Facebook apps, like any the whole idea of like the universe of things that you do on the web today were not even yet being dreamed up, or the few things that were in their earliest stages, yet they were still seeing how kind of subdivided from the world you can get when you trap yourself in those things. So I thought that was really neat.
To put into perspective some of like the changes, OK Computer was even retrospectively way ahead of its time, as far as some of its commentary.
Some would say it's Radiohead at its time.
Jared, get out.
20 years ago. Not 20 years ago. What is it? 27 years ago.
26.
In 1997. 27 years ago.
Fair enough.
The hottest technology that they're writing this about, that they're writing OK Computer in reference to, okay? Have y'all heard of Netscape?
Yes.
I think I have.
Netscape
it's not like
was
RuneScape.
the top web browser.
Before my time.
Yeah. Tamagotchi was invented in 1997, or at least it was the toy fad of 97.
Wow.
Let's see. Sharp mini disc player was a thing, supposedly.
Wow. I think mini disc
the
is
PlayStation
the same thing they use for
1, or the Sony PlayStation came out in 97. Well, no, in 1995.
Wow.
So like the technology that they're writing about is like it's only becoming more and more true of a prophecy.
Yeah, this album is very pathetic.
Prophetic.
That too.
Like you have a prophetic knee.
Look, I think we're both wrong and right.
No, that's when you're mining for gold.
Jason just changed his perspective again.
Oh my gosh.
Prospectic. Well, there was I love finding articles about what other people say about albums that we look at. And I found one that was written in October of 2020 from Arizona State that talks about how this album predicted the future. If we look at some of the lyrics, if we look at some of the themes, some of the stuff that society was dealing with during a global pandemic just continues to like live up to this prophecy that Radiohead was obviously writing.
Yeah, it is like really impressive, and
it's spooky.
This album does it really well, and also their next album. I mean, we won't talk about it, but Kid A was their next album, and that was even more centered around like anxiety due to like technology and stuff, and so they have like some sort of vision into the future that we don't have. They watch The Simpsons or something.
Yeah. Well, one of the lines specifically that I found was in The Tourist, which is just the theme of The Tourist is slowing down. Just slowing down life, slowing down everything. And that was a particular theme of 2020 was just figuring out how to slow life down again. And a lot of people found just a much more desirable speed of life at that point. So one of the lines is, sometimes I get overcharged. That's when you see sparks. then ask me where the hell I'm going at 1,000 feet per second. And like, just society is built, especially in America, to just go and to go quickly. And
Yeah.
2020 was the time that we all kind of went, oh, we can chill out a little bit? Question mark.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like No Surprises kind of gets at that too. Like that first verse, a heart that's full up like a landfill, a job that slowly kills you, bruises that won't heal. You look so tired, unhappy. Like that whole part is like you're just living your life. You're basically, you just exist to exist and have a job to have a job, and you have that job so you can exist. And it's a little bleak. I mean, No Surprises as a song as well is bleak,
No
but
surprises.
I can resonate with the chorus, like wanting no alarms and no surprises. Like
Yeah.
I don't want, like, I want to live my life and I want to be positive and I want to live it in a fun and healthy way. And then when like a sudden change happens or some kind of catastrophe happens, I'm like, I mean, no one wants a catastrophe to happen. That should be clear. But I can resonate
Depends
with,
on the catastrophe.
well, yeah. Well, but like, you want your life to go a certain way. And so when something comes along like a tidal wave and just completely washes everything that you've tried to go for, it, it causes you to look back and be like, oh, like, what has my life been and what is my life worth?
Yeah. And uh, Subterranean Homesick Alien. Actually
Bless you.
that that song sort of reminds me of a Bo Burnham, I guess, bit that he did where it was in his special Inside, where he was talking about how we uh, uh, like relate to life outside and life like within our internet phone lives, and he compared it to um, like when you go outside, you suit up as if you're going into a coal mine, and you gather what's needed, and then you come back to the internet life where like that's supposed to be the thing that's real, the thing that you care about is the internet life. So it's like people going out and taking pictures just to bolster their um, image on the internet. And what's it called? Subterranean Homesick Alien really exemplifies like the alienation that comes from the technology and that sort of development where it opens up the world, but it also it bars you from any real contacts and connections with people. So
That is how the world works.
yeah. Well, let's move on to musicalities. Dan, did you notice, what did you learn about the musicalities of this album?
Holy Paranoid Android.
Yeah,
That
that's a
track
musical song.
just went crazy. There's so much to say and not enough to say, and I didn't do as much research as I would have liked to on this album, and I'm feeling it now.
Are you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
I'm feeling it now, Mr. Krabs. Well, so there is, gosh, the number of changes in Paranoid Android, just in the intro, as it's moving and as you're figuring out what it is. I'm having a hard time putting it into words. Go listen to it. Go listen to it. This is the answer.
Well, and I think to bounce off that idea is, some have talked about one of the starting points in creating this sound. The authors, the guys in the band putting this all together. There's several big like albums that kind of pushed towards it, but I think two that I thought were neat and I definitely hear in it is there's a Miles Davis avant-garde jazz album from 1970, which I will not name. You can find it on your own. And then Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, and I think both of those, like the amounts of changes and the texture and the shifts, are recognized.
Yeah, I've heard some people compare this song to Bohemian Rhapsody, not like in its caliber of music, but just in how it changes, and sort of it gives it this feeling of sort of a narrative structure that there's highs and lows, and then especially I love my favorite part of that song is like the breakdown where I think he says like God loves his children. That's one of the lyrics, but uh, it's such a beautiful like melancholy plea that that is so different from the whole rest of the song, that it really highlights the all the emotion behind it.
So, Jason, have you listened to Witch's Brew with a B by Miles Davis?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
So Miles Davis is insane, but like he's coming out of the jazz age of guys like John Coltrane, which there's a term in jazz theory called Coltrane changes, which is a type of essentially like key changing. You're not really changing keys, but you're functionally changing keys within a song, and you do it continuously, so you feel that rhythm of change. And Miles Davis kept doing that to an extended degree. So when you hear in Paranoid Android that the level of changes throughout, it's definitely reminiscent of a Miles Davis-esque thing, while not containing the jazz portion of it. Just doing it within a different style of music.
Gotcha.
Didn't you tell me that these were originally like different songs, and then Tom York sort of decided to merge them together?
Yes. That sounds like something I did say that I definitely got from Wikipedia, and I'm definitely not pulling it up right now to make sure that was correct.
You're definitely not stalling.
So there I was in
Barbecue
the present.
sauce. Okay. I didn't finish the phrase, so you can't arrest me.
If you know, you know.
Are you gonna cancel me, Jason?
No, if you know, you know.
If you know, you're over the age of 24.
Yeah.
Good thing I'm 25.
25.
You know what's funnier than
24?
Thanks.
27? Yeah, so I can't,
2 years
just for
away,
sake
baby.
of time.
29.
Yeah, these essentially do focus as 4 different songs, but can combine into one. Kind of like, what's the song? I just looked at it. Happiness is a Warm Gun by the Beatles, or even like Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. It's like it's all one song, obviously, but it's different sections that do not work together to be cohesive, but are cohesed, are together.
Yeah, they are cohesed. Yeah, it definitely it sounds like it's cohesed and it's all together. It doesn't sound like it was put together Frankenstein style.
Yeah.
One thing I definitely wanted to mention and to call out for musicalities is Tom York's voice and his vocals, because it's this really like sweet and vulnerable, like almost like childlike tenor. I mean, he's a grown man, but
Chocolate.
but his voice is it's definitely a tenor, and it's higher than a lot of rock singers, I think. But that contrasted like with the intense music and lyrics and themes and stuff that the voice is singing is really powerful to me.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like a child is singing about this terrible turmoil that he's in, and it's more heartbreaking because it feels like a child knows that suffering, and that sucks. But yeah, his voice is really special, I think.
Yeah, no, I think
The range on his voice throughout his career.
Yeah.
is E2 to B5.
Wow.
Word.
That's
In case you were wondering.
what's that in Fahrenheit?
E2 to
Warm
B5.
enough.
I don't understand. Like,
Imagine a tea kettle.
yeah.
E2 to B5 is a crazy chess move.
That's like if you play guitar, that's the low E on the guitar, right? That E2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. That helps a lot, actually.
And B5
What is that in guitar?
would be
The 7th fret of the high E
on
string.
yeah.
The other thing that drives that point about it being sort of vulnerable and childlike is the song "No Surprises." Tom York himself described it as a fucked up nursery rhyme.
Fair.
A few surprises.
Yeah, which I mean the opening, like the riff that's going throughout it, really it does bear that out. That's a nursery rhyme
like
sort of thing.
It's like a creepy merry-go-round.
Yeah, and it's creepy. It's extra creepy because the lyrics are so harsh. A handshake with carbon monoxide, and then just one more. Sam Steele wrote an article and called it a bittersweet child's prayer. Yeah. So, yeah. What were we going to say, Jeff?
I was agreeing with everything that was being said. I had no original thought going on.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Very well then.
Nice.
And then
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity to say something.
Yeah. And so there's a few songs that sort of he's singing like almost a threat, or like he's sort of resentful, or sort of feels aggressive toward something, like in Karma Police, this is what you'll get. He seems sort of upset at somebody, and the childlike part of his voice makes that really neat too, because it's almost like a child trying to stand up to a bully, or like someone who's abusive, and they're just so weak and they can't do it, but they're still like trying to do it.
I feel like this is kind of like the not opposite of, but kind of like almost a companion to Metallica by Metallica. Like the same kind of like themes. I'm obviously completely different music style, but like the themes, like basically what you're describing right now is also like the Unforgiven.
Right. Yeah.
And like Karma Police is like Holier Than Thou.
Yeah.
Like I just now saw that kind of theme, that thematic pattern.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean, this came out after Metallica, didn't it?
Yeah.
Or that album. Yeah. So maybe they had some influence. Cool. Did we have any musical nidities?
In fact, we did. So let me put it to you like this.
If you change
Everybody
your
loves
camera,
this part of the show where we get into the different musical instruments used within an album. And like in other different things,
here it comes.
Our favorite instrument is back.
Yes,
dude.
Did you recognize that here again, we have the Glockenspiel within an album? I think it's wonderful, and I'm sad that my camera didn't switch smoother. But nonetheless,
that's okay.
We're back to close
this
camera.
This is an audio medium, so it doesn't really matter.
So we have the Glockenspiel. We have obviously so many different sounds throughout. But I thought it was really neat. They use this instrument. It's called a mellotron. And if you've never heard of a mellotron, you are a normal person.
It's a cousin of Megatron.
This is a keyboarded instrument, and it's really neat to be used on an album called OK Computer, as it is an electronic keyboard. So this is a mechanical keyboard that affects the use of a tape, essentially a musical electronic tape, to create its sounds. But you're using both a combination of a technological device and a mechanical device at the same time to create the sounds, which is really neat. to create the different audio and different things that you can get out of it. But I thought it was also interesting that Smashing Pumpkins' Muse Oasis have also used the same instrument. So in case you're wondering, they've used
those
this.
3 bands. Yes,
those 3 bands. I think it was also used in several Beatles albums, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think Abbey Road has one.
You might be right. I think they did. And so it's just really neat that they use that instrument specifically, with all the technological sounds, that they were able to use one that does the very like hands-on mechanical, while also the electronic that they're kind of not speaking against, but being very wary of. So I thought that was neat.
You know, that was neat. It was definitely a neatity. I was looking up when Airbags came out.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of maybe ironic that the album starts with a song about how like a piece of technology saved his life. Because I think that's about like how he got into a car accident and an airbag
And
saved his life.
right?
As the
doesn't
lyrics
Tom
say.
York hate public transportation or like any mode of transportation?
I just want to stay in my house forever.
That's what George
That's
Harrison.
how he sounds, right? Obviously.
Just yeah.
I just want to stay in my house forever.
Nope. That's
Ever in your house?
That's Jordan Peterson.
That's someone else.
Someone else.
That is him. Yeah.
Kermit the Frog.
You have to define what you mean by is. So, let's move on to highlights. What are some stuff that really stood out to you? Your favorite bits of this album, not your favorite songs, but
Really like
what was
the
your favorite
Paranoid
parts?
Android music video more than I thought I would.
I did not.
Well, you know what?
It was so weird.
And that's why I liked it.
Oh man. Don't watch it.
I mean, yeah,
No
it was
Surprises is so much better.
It was a little Beavis and Buttheady. I mean, I like the No Surprises video too, but I mean, I don't care for Beavis and Butthead, but like I like cartoons, so I'm just a sucker for cartoons. So
Nice. That's fair enough. Yeah. I don't think I've seen the Paranoid Android music video, but I did see the No Surprises one. And that one was very abstract.
What are you doing
and,
later?
And neat.
I think a big highlight for me was how a lot of these themes will be relevant in 20 years.
Yes, they will.
Like this album will continue to be relevant, whether or not it's listened to. It'll continue to be relevant.
2044. We'll be closer to 2050 than we are to 1950.
You're gonna bum everybody out,
We're-
man.
We're already closer to 2050 than 1950.
We've been closer to 2050 since 2001. Like
So
Jared, we've been
Just the way
closer
you
to
phrased it made me sad.
to 2050 since you were 4.
like that's not difficult.
no surprise.
Any what are some other highlights for you guys? For me, and this will be sort of related to favorite songs, but I did like the No Surprises music video.
So good. That one's good.
And that song actually it was recorded in one take.
Oh.
Jarrett, you were talking
That's
about how they recorded it live and stuff, parts of the album.
Yeah, I don't know why I
Most of the
acted like
album.
I was surprised when I just said that information at the beginning of the episode.
You're such a faker.
I get myself sometimes. What can I say?
Not that.
Such a letdown.
Yeah, but yeah, this album, this whole thing was a highlight for me. I loved all of it. So
You would.
Naturally.
yeah. All right. Well, if we don't have any more highlights to discuss, let's go ahead and talk about our least favorite song. And I'm going to start with Dan.
Fitter, happier.
No, okay. I meant to say this before. You can't do. Let's not do fitter, happier. That's
It counts. It's on the track listing.
It's on the track. I said it in the track listing. It counts.
but
Sure,
just
it was there.
choose something different. You got to choose something different.
Okay, electioneering.
Okay, you can't choose that one either.
So let me just say right here.
What can
For
we
me,
pick from? That's
when I was thinking through my least favorites, I was gonna say either Fit or Happier or Electioneering, mainly because in that section of the album, I can't remember which one I was listening to when I was like, "Oh, this is my least favorite," but it was one of those two. So that's
Fair enough.
oh yeah.
Fit or
It was one of
Happier
the-
is the one with the Mac voice, and Electioneering is the hard rock song.
Okay,
More productive,
then yes.
comfortable.
That's it. That's
the
the
one.
one.
No,
That's
I think for me, and this
All
was
right. Yeah.
with this album, I thought this album did exactly what it was trying to do perfectly. My thing is more, I'm just not the biggest Radiohead fan. I love Radiohead. I love what they do. I just can't listen to them for like long periods of time. I would rather listen to like a song or two and then later listen to another song or two than all in one sitting. And
How
so,
dare you?
yeah, that I think the album was done like exactly perfectly, but that's where I, in the middle there, I kind of was like, oh wait, I gotta get back focused again. So somewhere in the middle.
This one's a meeting. This one's a meeting.
I don't know why, but when Jason was saying, I love Radiohead, I love what they do, the best band ever, we're going to make Radiohead.
Wow,
the
what a big room.
satire.
I walked in, I said, wow, this is a big room.
Wow, what a great podcast. We're going to make this podcast the GOATest of all.
I walked
my
in, I said,
gosh.
wow, what a great podcast.
Wow,
Jarrett.
what a great podcast.
In the hierarchy of podcast, Jarrett, what's your least favorite song on this album?
Climbing Up the Walls for me.
Really? Man.
You're dead to me.
How dare you? How dare you?
Well, you're alive in Christ.
Yeah, okay,
so.
that's fair.
It's true. Preach.
Steven, what about you?
Steven,
What about you?
Did you have a least favorite?
Did you have a least favorite?
and you can't cop
Yes.
out. You have
You're
to.
mimicking me.
Let me go ahead and tell you, Stephen. It can't be Fit or Happier, Electioneering, or
Electioneering.
Climbing Up the Walls.
Yeah, it has to be something else.
All right, that's fair. So for me, it was between Electioneering and
If you say it.
Letdown.
You're dead to
Aw,
me.
man, I wanted you to say Fit or Happier so bad.
I
You
didn't
call
like,
yourself a
Really? You didn't like
Radiohead fan?
Letdown? Or
I love both of those songs. But Electioneering is seems like the most like overtly political song on the album, and I
Fair.
like the more introspective
you're
lyrics
overtly
and
not
songs.
political.
If it's any
Yeah,
consolation, it's not American politics. So there's that.
Oh, and okay, then Electioneering is my favorite. No, but Letdown, I guess, would be my least favorite, just because
It
it's
let you down.
It's unfortunate.
yeah, it's just the tone of the song really
Kind of a
was
letdown.
happier than the rest of it. But I know it's not necessarily a happy song. It's actually a pretty sad song. But still, I just didn't like the sound of it. So that's my 2 cents. And we're moving on to the favorites.
Hey, yo.
This one should be, well, not easier because they're all pretty good. But Dan, kick us off with your fave.
No surprises here. It's Paranoid Android.
Oh,
Had me in
okay.
the first half.
Yeah,
Had me in
It's a
the
good
second.
choice.
it's very good. Very good songs. I thought
I
it was going to
agree.
be no surprises when I first looked at the album, knowing what was on it. But Paranoid
Well,
Android,
okay.
man.
What was your favorite part of Paranoid Android? Because there's like 4 different. You have to choose your
I'm a
favorite
sucker
song
for a
within that
good
song.
intro. I'm a sucker for a good intro.
Ooh, I love that intro. Just the
Man.
dissonance and
So
the
good.
melody and stuff. It's very good.
Well, and seeing other people's commentary and learning more about the intro and whatnot, and just it's great.
Yeah. It's a good time.
It's a pretty good time.
Pretty good time.
So, Jason, go ahead with your fave.
Well, Paranoid Android
Okay,
here.
here it goes.
It's no surprises. So My answer is no surprises.
I was really hoping I would be next so I could do that same joke.
Well, too bad.
That'll hurt my
great.
But I
Average
thought it was
minds
great.
think the same thing sometimes.
It's solid. And Jarrett's does too. So
Agreed. Jarrett, not to put you on the spot, you may have taken yours, but go ahead. What's your favorite?
Yeah, well, it's no surprises here, but it's the same. I thought it was going to be Paranoid Android when we started this.
Really?
And the more I listened to this album, I just kept getting excited for when No Surprises would come up. So
It's so good.
So good. I like the
was
Paranoid
tough to pick
Android
between
music video more, but that's just also because it's a cartoon. But song-wise, no surprises.
That opinion's invalid.
It's it's an all right song if you're into good songs or whatever. But
Yeah.
not that you asked, but my favorite song.
Hey, Steven, Jason's got a question for you.
yeah. So
what-
Stephen,
what is it?
I wanted to ask you, being that you and I both have Android devices, we have the only right opinions in this debate. What is your favorite song?
Oh,
You just outed us as Android users.
Wow.
What was that last bit?
You
You said you said what was my favorite?
yeah, I said what was your favorite song?
use your words.
Yeah, what is your
You
favorite
got a
song?
lot of nerve asking me that, man. Well, my favorite song. Well, no surprises here. It is No Surprises.
Wow.
This is my
Hey.
favorite song.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been my favorite song of all time, of any album, for
Wow.
a very long time.
That's no surprise to
I
me.
really dig it. Yeah, it's and I like the music video of him sort of having this contraption on his head and filling up with water, and that sort of cycle of drowning and then coming back up for air is very powerful and poetic, and it's very characteristic of depression, where it's in cycles. And I know Tom York has struck with that, and so that's just it's my favorite song of all time, and I don't care who hears it. I mean, you should listen to the song, but I don't care who hears my opinion about it. All right, so we're not going to be ranking this album. Because obviously it would be number one of all time, but let's so our next okay, well, I'm sorry, let's
Well, we could say
at
where
Of
we
the
would
two
put it
favorites,
for
we could rank
funsies.
it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
okay, we
Here,
can
I
do
got
whatever.
It won't be an official
here's-
rank, but we could.
Here's our rank.
Okay, yeah, we can just do it for fun.
For funsies.
Steven, who do you
And
want to go
Jarrett's
first?
if you want me to go first.
Well, it's up to you.
Oh well, yeah, sure. I mean, it's number one for me.
Above the wall?
And yeah.
Above Forget Not Slow Down?
Yeah. They're both good
Incredible.
albums, but yeah. So I'm gonna try to keep it together while you guys rank this album.
You might want to take your headphones off for this.
I will become enraged if it's below, number 2. So that being said, Dan, why don't you go
You
ahead?
should take your headphones off for this one, Steven. Truthfully.
They're welded into my ears, so I can.
That's unfair.
Sure,
Dan,
he saw it
they
right
were,
before we-
they were never on.
Let me. When we're done
This is prop.
recording, I'm gonna go make sure all of the doors in my house are locked.
You
I
think
would-
locks will stop me? isn't that a silly
I just need
joke?
time. I don't need to stop you. I just need time. That's all I need. For
Time
me,
waits
I've
for
got
no
a sniper
beans.
trained on you right now, Dan. So,
so these are not freckles. These are red dots.
well, some of them are
It's a
freckles.
lot of snipers. I would have to put it between Sergeant Pepper's and Dangerous.
Okay.
It would go at my number 10. And I accept flowers for my funeral.
Who do you think you are? Who? Where do you get off?
I
Putting that at number 10. Well, okay. It's okay. If you were trying to hurt my
It's
feelings,
any
you were successful.
consolation. It would be technically. It could also be number 11 because he put "Forget Not Slow Down" as his number 1 for my. So
Did I?
yeah, we got the receipts, man.
All right. You have receipts? I don't remember where I put it. That's great.
Well, it doesn't have to be. Not everything is everybody's cup of tea. As I said at the beginning,
Not
some
even
people
tea.
don't even like tea.
Yeah.
Or cups.
As Ted Lasso once
Yeah,
said.
barbecue sauce on.
Okay, so who's next?
Jason.
All right.
Jason,
So-
you're up.
I invite all violence as needed. I'm going to place it for me just above the wall, just below dangerous, at my number
Interesting.
10.
Hey, brother.
I didn't even realize that was number 10. I just realized it now. I accept
I'm gonna
death
go
when it
jump
comes.
off a bridge.
Okay.
No, don't do
Steven,
that.
It's gonna be a very low
Wait,
bridge.
no, don't
like,
do that.
It's gonna be like a few
Like
feet.
a walking
but still,
bridge?
I'm
Like a
gonna get,
normal walk?
Yeah.
Yeah,
A
like
boardwalk?
over like a
What are
small
we thinking
stream.
here?
A brook? A babbling brook?
Yeah, I'm gonna jump off and
silent
splash
brook.
in it.
Mm.
Isn't that where you grew up, Jared?
It is. Yes. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
where I'm going to leave it
We
there.
come from a really tough neighborhood, you and I.
It's true. All these
Yeah,
What's
houses.
the rest of your address?
Zip code?
And Jarrett, next is you.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to put this above at least the wall, and Baby One More Time, Brothers in Arms, Dangerous, Supernatural, even Appetite for Destruction, but I can't go above that.
Really?
That's fair.
So that would be my number 8.
You're 8? Yeah.
No, my 7.
Above.
7. Above Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, yeah,
So
yeah,
it'd be
yeah,
your
yeah,
7.
Yeah.
Arrest these 3 motherfuckers that ranked this album really low.
That's mid for me.
That was,
He just,
that was my-
called. Hey, I just want to say he just called your album mid. So just gonna.
Yeah.
just
Well,
gonna say
compared to
that.
the
That's-
highest selling albums of all time.
if it's...
That's
Do
true.
you know what Jesus said about lukewarm water?
Turn the other cheek.
No, have you... Is that what you've been thinking this whole time?
Didn't you
Whenever
say
you see
turn off the
lukewarm
faucet,
water, you're
rinse
just
it
like,
out?
oh shit, I gotta look this way.
Wow.
All right, Jared. Well, at least you were ranked higher than the other ones. Yeah, but this one
Yeah,
number
so-
1 for me.
Our next album is going to be "Falling Into You" by Celine Dion, another Celine Dion album.
Hey.
Also from the '90s. We love it. We love it. Yeah. Hey, if you want to send us a message, you can. Jarrett, how would they send us a message?
Let me tell you. You can listen to the outro.
That's great. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for this album and for hosting and bearing your soul to us in this. Is there anything that you'd like to say?
Well, I want to thank you guys. Okay, because this is my favorite album, and I
Thank you,
loved,
Stephen.
sharing it with
That
you guys.
concludes this episode of the G.O.A.T Pod. If you enjoyed this or didn't, feel free to let us know by emailing us at thegoatpodemail@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram at
Google, where's the
thegoat_pod.
nearest
Thank you
bridge?
so much for listening, and until next time.
Siri, how to talk somebody off the ledge.